is P4L. In today's P4L review, we'll be taking a look at a release from GCreations, and I haven't done a GCreations video in a really long time, but this is their GDW-02 Rebel, their version of an IDW Prowl, which is a fan favorite character in the IDW universe, so it's great that we're going to be seeing this. So let's start off really quickly, not even with packaging review, just letting you know that this is actually a sample that I got from Toy Dojo to do a review on. It's not a final retail release as far as I can tell, but I think it's pretty close. So if it's not a final release, it's very, very, very close. So it should be representative. In any case, let's get started with packaging review. We do have the exterior box, which looks very nice. It has a lot of kind of like additional information, like creation produced by G Studio. It's also part of the Strong Deformation Metal series. I don't know what that is. GDW, obviously, Generation DW, which I assume is for IDW, and 02, so it's the second release. The first one in this line was their Optimus Prime, which I think as a whole was not as widely accepted as the Generation Toy one, which is the one I got. Some more packaging here. I think the same image on the back. More photos and a QR code on top, and then at the bottom is pretty much the same thing. So on the back is where you get a lot of information as far as the robo form. You got the front and back here. You have the alt mode front and back, and then you have some action poses. So they call them robot form, armored car, and actions, which I thought was kind of funny. In any case, that's all you get from the exterior packaging. Now the packaging, I don't have the instructions unfortunately, but they did give me the stat card. Again, I have no idea why. But it is a nice glossy plastic stat card. Nice action pose here. We have some biography on the back as well as his stats itself. So very nice card. Nothing to write home about. It's nice that we have it. In the clamshell, you have a couple of pieces of weaponry. Two like I guess swords. That's the only way I can really describe them. I guess maybe you can call them batons. Yeah, maybe I guess police batons. Yeah, because they're not pointy, so I guess that makes the most sense since he's a police officer. And then he also has two guns, big guns here, which, to be perfectly honest, I didn't even realize for the longest time until putting this guy back in the packaging that they are two different guns. I don't know why I thought they were the same, but they are actually different molding and paint, and I thought it's actually quite nice that they went ahead and did different molds for this. I thought this was kind of unnecessary, but a step beyond what the other companies would have done. Really nice molding. The paint work is kind of messy. It's always kind of hard with yellow, and you can see how one is way more bright of an orange than the other one, but it's decent. The batons here, which I thought are also kind of odd, they can actually pivot, so I guess they can make them into those, what are those things called? Whatever, other batons that usually have like that jutting out piece here. So you can have it into the straight one or the folded one. Here is Rebel, and pretty much the robot mode. There are a couple things that you kind of need to do. Like you need to fold these down to get the kind of accurate to the comic. So then they're supposed to be out like this. And you can fold out to his knee pads just a little bit. But by and large, he is what he is. Oh, and they typically have these pieces folded up and this tip piece folded down like that. I don't know if it really matters, but that's the way they have it displayed. And it does look a little bit more like the version of Prowl that we see in the comics. At least some of the major shots that we have of him. So let's do a quick 360 while I bring that up. And you can see it's a really quite accurate representation. The only things that I can kind of notice that are a little bit odd, or at least different, are the wheels. I don't know, at least in the versions of the images that I found of him, he didn't have these kind of weird looking wheels. They almost look like Mickey Mouse ears and a head, but they actually look quite nice. All right. Let's go with the weapons really quickly. The way it works is a little bit different, and companies have been doing way different tabs. So this one actually has a tab on the rear of both of the guns, and they go straight into the back, or I guess I don't even know what you would call this. Like down here, you don't really have it in a real hand, I guess. But you just fold it around like so. Same thing on the other side. And he holds them really well. They're nice and sturdy. The tabs are really nice. So good job on those. The batons, they have like a little pin here, which a hole here, which I haven't been able to figure out. And again, I don't have the instructions, so I have no idea where these are supposed to go. I imagine they go somewhere, but I literally have no idea. And I've checked out a couple of reviews, and I didn't see anyone really talk about where these go. So if they go somewhere, let me know in the comment section. And again, you can hold them out like this, or if you want, hold them like this and fold it around like a police baton. They look quite good. The shoulder cannons are actually a separate part that tabs in to the back here. You can see they're mirrored pieces, so they're not symmetrical. And they do have a pin joint here, or pivot hinge, I guess. But overall, I really like the way he looks all the way around. The only bad thing is his really big backpack, which kind of extends down to almost like a butt flap here. It could clean up a little bit better, but it's not atrocious as some that I've seen, but they could have definitely done better. Some of the other stuff that I've seen is that various kinds of stickers that, again, I didn't have the instructions, so that maybe that comes with the full figure itself and the instructions, but I didn't have them here. Let's go ahead and get started with some comparisons. Let's do comparisons first off the bat. Here he is with Masterpiece Prowl, the official one, so you can kind of see how he scales. They are basically head-to-head from what I can tell. And you can see how IDW did a really good job of pulling in certain aesthetics from the original character design, G1 character design, to create their IDW world. And another quick comparison, as I mentioned before, with an IDW-inspired Optimus Prime. This is the Generation toy one, so not the GCreations one. Unfortunately, I opted not to go with that one. And I think this one looks a little bit better anyway. But aesthetically, they go well, fairly well together. So if you have this one, you shouldn't be afraid to buy this Rebel from GCreations. Articulation-wise, let's move this out of the way. I think his head is on a ball joint. Yeah, it's on a ball joint. Really nice face sculpt. I should have zoomed in on that really quickly. But nice blue eyes, nice metallic red paint. I think that's the only place where he has metallic red paint. Everywhere else is like kind of this flat red. But yeah, really nice. You can go all the way around. He has this, and I've seen some people refer to this as like a riot mask. I don't know why they would do that, say that. It just folds up very slightly. I don't think it's supposed to be anything. He does have a butterfly joint, slight butterfly joint at the shoulders. And then he has really weird shoulders. This is probably my least favorite part of the figure in terms of it's not very clear how these are supposed to work. But he has several joints. One main one that everything kind of rotates on. Then he has a separate one here, just for the arm itself, and then another one just for this flappy piece. So depending on how you feel like arranging it, it can go in a variety of ways. This piece can also like fly up like this or fold down, really up to you. He has a bicep joint, double jointed elbows. His I guess wrist or arm cannons can rotate around, and you'll need to do that for transformation. He has a wrist swivel and pinned fingers, all one molded piece. He does have an interesting ab area, so you can pull it down. You can see it's a couple of hinges, and it's not for transformation at all, which is interesting. I thought it would be, but you can see there's a hinge up here and a hinge at the bottom. So you can get a really wide range, which obviously breaks up the look a little bit, but you can get them kind of like this, hunched over pretty far if you wanted. I don't use it all that much, but it's there if you want to use it. He does have a 360 waist swivel, which we will use for transformation. He has little hip skirts here, and these kind of, instead of rotating out of the way, they kind of flip up and down to give you any additional range you might need. His legs, as you can see, can go all the way out, forward and back, with some interference from the backpack. Thigh swivel, a fairly deep knee bend, not quite 90 degrees, but close enough. Down here is knee pads. He has a ball jointed toe, and then a separate heel hinge or pin joint there. The only other thing that people have mentioned, or at least I've noticed, is he has some hollowness here in his inner shin. It's usually not that noticeable, but it is definitely there. Once you have it in hand, you'll probably notice it a bit more. But they did a pretty good job of hiding that up. All right. So overall, I think the Rebel Moon looks quite nice. Lots of nice paint details here. Besides the yellow ones on the gun, all the other ones seem pretty solid. And everything, oh, so yeah, I think these might be stickers as well. But again, I didn't apply these. Oh, and there's a little bit more metallic red here. I think one of them's supposed to be blue though, so again, I'm not sure if this is the final choice for the color, or if this is a sample, but maybe the final retail release has a blue. I really don't know. I didn't do that much research on that. But yeah, from here, let's go ahead and get into transformation. First thing we need to do is get rid of these. Unfortunately, these don't stay on during transformation, but we'll put these off to the side. Let's see, how do I want to tackle this? Let's go ahead and start with the legs, actually. So first thing we'll do is rotate at the waist 180 degrees. Get this flipped around. And the legs are the most complicated part. So the first thing we'll want to do is flip this piece up on both sides. That allows you to come in here and untab this piece, wrap it around, and unfold it like that. Just keep it like that for now. Next thing we'll do, oh, let's flip this down too. Next thing we'll do is fold this out of the way. What you're going to want to do is fold this out, fold the wheel in, and then fold it back. This entire section is actually on the sliding joint. Let me see if I can get a picture of that. So here you can see it on the sliding joint. What you'll need to do is untab this, slide this, if I'm doing it incorrectly. Oh, sorry, you have to untab this and bring this joint and kind of Z it up, according it up like that. And that will allow you to slide the wheel all the way up on that sliding joint. All right. From here, you can kind of just fold up the heel. This piece is going to come around, and it's going to tab in. You're going to fold this in, and it's going to tab into this slot, which is kind of odd. So you're going to pull this piece back, rotate this piece in on that piece, and then fold this up. So that's one half of the leg. We'll do the same thing on the other side. We've already started here. Let's just close that up, pull this down, untab this, fold this out, close it up, get this down like so. Accordion this piece again by making it kind of like a Z or S shape, like so. Oh, you can fold this. I didn't fold this piece down. You can really do with this what you want, but I just fold it back like so. All right, so once we have that, untab the shin and rotate it back. And that will allow you to go ahead and rotate this tab in here. Fold that back up. And then you can slide up that joint we talked about before. Keep these legs like this for now. You're going to want to push up on this canopy piece and rotate this down. You'll see these two tabs will go into these two slots here. And then this piece you have to fold out. If we can get it, there we go. That little piece is pretty important. All right, so for the legs, the last thing you need to do is make sure you rotate the knees all the way forward. All right, that'll give you the correct angle for these tabs and this slot to sandwich in. If you did that correctly, they should go in straight, because they are at a kind of an odd angle. You push those in, and then you tab both of those halves in like so. And with that, you have the rear half done. All right. Oh, sorry, made a mistake. Not really a mistake, but it'll just be a little bit of a challenge to clear these. There we go. Yeah, you wanted to bring those down first. All right. So for the upper body, first thing we'll do is kind of get the arms down and around. We're going to pull up on the chest piece, making sure this is folded out. The head should just go right in. Let's move these out the way. That's probably a problem. There we go. Here, just get those out the way. You'll see the head just kind of tucks in there. You can fold that down. And this piece will fold down, and there's a little tab that goes right there to the front. And it doesn't tab down. This rear section doesn't tab down anywhere. What it will work with is the arms to tab into this to kind of hold stuff in place. It doesn't do a fantastic job, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So let's flip these white sections up. Let's deal with the arms, because the arms end up being kind of a troublesome piece. So let's rotate the arm cannons around 180. And this is where I get a little confused. So I talked about how there's like 3 sections, rotating pieces, right? There's this piece here that's attached to the arm itself. And then there's this piece here that attaches to the whatever this kibble is here. What I think you want to do is work with this piece so that this is about 90 degrees, well, going straight up and down. It's hard to tell. This piece here go way up and down, and then this other piece here with the arm on it, you want to rotate that down so it's on the opposite side. So they're going to be on opposing sides of this circular piece here. So they're 180 degrees opposed. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but hopefully it will. And these are really tight, at least on this one. So just be careful. And the other thing to note is these pieces are very, very fragile. This one came to me already broken. I had to super glue it back in place. So just be careful there. All right. So once you have that kind of opposed, you can see they're kind of like 90 degrees away from each other. 180 degrees away from each other. You're going to use these tabs on the back of the forearm to tab in here and here. So if you did it right, it should work. The first thing I'd like to do before that, though, is actually deal with this piece, because this piece ends up being kind of a problematic piece. So this piece has to slot in right here. This little nub goes in to this gray piece like that, and then this piece ends up tabbing in to the front of the windshield, kind of. But again, all this kind of works in an odd way, and just to try to get everything aligned is kind of a challenge. So I do that first because it's hard to get this piece really tapped in securely. Then you'll bring the arm up and tab those 2 pieces in. Flip this down, and then the last thing to do to finish up this side is to bring back this front part of the bumper, push it back into place, and this nub will also join that gray nub in the slot here. If you did it right, everything should kind of fit into place and kind of be smooth, but again, it's kind of a challenge to get all of this worked in place. And maybe, again, the instructions are much better at this, but again, I don't have a copy of that. So this is pretty good. The most important thing is to try to get the arms tabbed in so they're straight, as well as here. So let's try the same thing on the other side. Let's just straighten this out. And then we're going to want to bring this shoulder piece back enough where it's going to tab in here and tab in here straight. All right, and then get the arms in place. All right, there we go. Bring this back, kind of get it situated. And that's gonna be close enough. You can probably mess with these shoulder pieces a little bit more to make it a little bit more smoothly transition. But I'm gonna stop there because I can mess with this all day. All right. Lastly, we can go ahead and deal with the, so one of the things I noticed is that you can go to actually use these batons in the hands and kind of store it in alt mode that way. Like so, if you wanted to do that. I don't know why you would really feel the need to store it, but if you do, you can do that. The two cannons can tab on opposing sides. It doesn't really matter which side. So, and then these two cannons here, I think, again, this is just based on pure conjecture on my part. I think they actually go on the opposite side. So this was on the right shoulder, and now I think it's supposed to go on the left side. The reason being is it has a little bit of a slot here that allows this part of the white piece to kind of sit in there. If you did it the other way, you don't really have anything there. Let me get this out of the way. You don't really have anything there, and you just basically push down on it, which I think breaks up the look. So I'm pretty sure this is the way it's supposed to go, but again, don't quote me on that. I'm just going off of intuition here. And my intuition has steered me wrong before, so. And again, this should kind of go like that. And that's it. I know that was a little more complicated than you probably needed to know, but it is a pretty complicated transformation on the leg portions, and just getting this situated, that took me a really long time to figure out. Really quickly, comparison with MP Streak, which is the same mold as the MP Prowl, so it'll give you good frame of reference. Even though they're about the same size as far as height went in robot mode, you can see just how much larger this vehicle is in alt mode. It's like almost twice as wide and slightly longer. Not that much longer, but just a bit. But I think it looks really good. It looks quite accurate. Let's do a quick 360. It looks quite accurate. It does have nice rubber wheels. And if I had done this correctly, this was supposed to, yeah, these are supposed to freely roll around. Let's get this out of the way. And they're really nice wheels. It looks the part. Oh, I didn't flip this one down. It looks the part on basically all angles. Has the nice vents here. These things were, I guess, are supposed to be positioned up as far as the IDW look is supposed to go. And even without the cannons, I think it looks quite nice. So yeah, I think they did a really good job here. Just be careful on these. I'm going to reiterate that again because they are thin. And again, when you're trying to move these around, it's really easy to try to obtain leverage by pushing on this panel and maybe accidentally flexing this. But yeah, I think it looks really nice. I think the blue paint would have been a nice, I guess, contrast and a little bit more accurate. But anyway, we're droning on and on. But yeah, I really like this figure. I'm really happy with it. I'm definitely going to buy a full retail copy from Toy Dojo. And probably add it into my next shipment. So let's go ahead and get this guy transformed back. Just pull these off. Let's deal with the front first. So what is the first thing we did? I kind of like breaking up all of the tabbed in pieces. It just makes it a little bit easier. So let's just untab the arms first. I'm like kind of pulling this out. The slot, pulling these out. And actually, let's deal with this first. Pull up on the front part to get this to kind of collapse like so. Next thing we'll do is pull out on this tab here. And that kind of frees up the arms. And you'll see that the way the arms work is that you're gonna have to kind of collapse inwards a little tiny bit. I mean, that kind of naturally happened when you're trying to tab in the arms. I should have probably stated that, but you want to pull that out just slightly, and that'll give you enough room for this to untab and the chest to kind of sit in place. All right, kind of bring this up and back for now, just to get out of the way. The shoulders, again, this piece is now going to rock completely forward, so not this hinge, but this inner piece here is going to rock all the way forward as far as you can get it. Bring this piece around, like so. Fold this like that. Same thing on the other side. This shoulder, I think, is a little bit tighter than the other side. There we go. Pull this up, down like that. And the arms can flip around. Arm cannons can flip around. And there's the upper body already kind of pretty much done. On the back side, let's go ahead and untab these sections here from this middle piece and from each other. Fold this in. Let's go ahead and rotate at the waist 180 degrees just to get that out of the way. Be careful making sure that none of this stuff is up, otherwise you might snap that piece off. These pieces, I think they could have been done a little bit better, maybe if they folded inwards or something like that, but anyways, if you folded that up, folded these back on these double hinges, and on that double hinge here, you'll see that white tab will go into the middle of this back. This could be a little bit more secure but it's fine. Fold that down. And now we just have to deal with the legs. So, legs, the first thing we'll do is, what did we want to do? Oh, that's right. We want to fold out this piece that was tabbed into that part of the leg. Flip this down like that, and then rotate it around so that these pieces are facing forward. While we're here, let's go ahead and flip that down. And then this foot is going to extend and tab down here. That zigzag piece that was like this, kind of L'd out, we're gonna straighten that out after we pull this down. So remember that sliding joint, we're gonna pull that sliding joint down, extend the leg, and then you'll see that this tabs in here. And this one is gonna open up like this. Bring the wheel should come out. There we go, like that. And then you can close back up. The toe and the heel will come out. This white piece, I think how it's supposed to work is that you can see that it's not fully even. I think this piece here is supposed to just sit right over the wheel like this. But really you can position it however you like. Lastly, this piece here will fold in. This gray tab will go into that slot here. Fold this down to secure it into place. And I think it's supposed to be positioned. These cannons are supposed to be positioned like that, but it really doesn't matter. All right, same thing on the other side. Untabbing this piece, rotating this up, getting this rotated down, flip this piece down. I'm gonna go ahead and flip open there and around. Close it back up. Oh, sorry, you had to slide it down first before you fold it down. Straighten the leg out. Like so. Get the shin to tab in. Get this piece to tab in there. And this piece will rotate on this hinge and tab in to the big side armor of the shins. Lastly, we'll bring in the cannons, and they tab into the back of the shoulders on both sides. Like so. And with that, you have your Prowl or Rebel back in robot mode. All right. So I think this figure looks really nice. I think they did a phenomenal job capturing even the smallest of details, like even these lines here, if you looked at that image before, these lines are going the right way if they're like this. A lot of the colors here and the details on the front. Even these kind of flat pieces, even though they're kind of flipped around, they look really quite nice. But yeah, both modes look really phenomenal. He does have some chunky legs, but again, that's kind of what they had in the comics, so it's not that bad. Really great articulation overall. Only some finicky pieces are these shoulder pieces, the small handlebar piece that's prone to breakage, and really that's about it. Everything else is really quite nice. I can forgive the backpack even though it's a little large, but by and large, even a lot of these molded details are really accurate and really nice. Again, it's nice that they gave you 2 separate cannons, as well as some batons. I'm not familiar with whether he had these or not, but if you guys know where these little holes, peg holes, are supposed to correspond to, if they have a corresponding piece, definitely let me know. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with this piece. Even though I haven't been a huge IDW fan, I'm only catching up now, mostly with More Than Meets the Eye. I really like the designs anyway, so he's definitely going to be added to my collection. If you want to add him to your collection, go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below, and you can get one for yourself. Otherwise, that's really it for the review. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.